Australia sounds alarm, urging its citizens to leave Iran immediately, warning that the window to escape is rapidly closing as unrest deepens and communications collapse. With protests spreading, blackouts intensifying, and embassies shutting their doors, governments around the world are now telling their nationals the same thing: get out now or risk being trapped. Australia's Department of Foreign Affairs has issued an urgent warning, advising Australians to leave Iran without delay amid escalating protests and severe security risks. The updated advice states that commercial departure options remain available for now, but are becoming increasingly limited as tensions rise. Officials warn that airspace closures and sudden flight cancellations could occur at any moment, potentially making it impossible for people to leave later. Australians who choose to remain in Iran despite the warning are being told they are responsible for their own safety. They are advised to prepare to shelter in place for an extended period and ensure they have sufficient water, food, and essential medication. The risks are being compounded by widespread blackouts affecting telecommunications, including mobile networks and internet access. Authorities warn that these outages could severely limit the ability to call for help or receive emergency information. The advisory also highlights the growing risk of violence from security forces responding to the protests. According to Australian officials, the response by authorities has been severe, with protesters and bystanders reportedly injured, killed, or detained. Australians, including dual nationals, are considered to be at particularly high risk of detention. The government warns that if an Australian is detained, consular access cannot be guaranteed. In some cases, Australian authorities may not even be notified that a detention has taken place. The situation is further complicated by the suspension of operations at the Australian embassy in Iran. Officials say Australia's ability to provide consular assistance inside the country is now extremely limited. Those needing urgent help are being directed to contact emergency consular services outside Iran. Australia's warning follows a wave of similar advisories issued by major Western and regional powers. The United Kingdom, United States, Canada, Australia, India, and Kyrgyzstan have all urged their citizens to avoid all travel to Iran. The U.S. Department of State tells Americans not to travel to Iran for any reason. U.S. citizens already in the country are being urged to leave immediately. The advisory cites risks including terrorism, civil unrest, kidnapping, torture, and arbitrary detention. Officials warn that wrongful detention of foreign nationals remains a serious threat. The UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office warns that British nationals, particularly dual Iranian citizens, face a significant risk of arrest, detention, or interrogation. British officials say the scale of civil unrest is unprecedented, with protests reported in at least 92 cities. Major urban centers, including Tehran, Isfahan, and Shiraz, have seen violent clashes between demonstrators and security forces. The FCDO advises those already in Iran to remain in secure accommodation, limit movement, and maintain regular contact with diplomatic missions. Canada has issued a rare and stark warning: avoid all travel. Global Affairs Canada says tensions could escalate with little or no warning, citing previous attacks involving drones, missiles, and falling military debris. Canadian officials warn that while Iranian airspace remains open, commercial flight options may be limited and could disappear quickly. Canada also states it is unable to provide assistance within Iran, including transportation to the border. Border closures or further restrictions could be imposed at short notice as tensions rise. India has also cautioned its citizens against non-essential travel to Iran. The Indian government has advised nationals and people of Indian origin to remain vigilant, avoid protest areas, and monitor embassy updates closely. Those on long-term visas are being urged to register with the Indian embassy in Tehran.
Kyrgyzstan's foreign ministry, too, urged citizens to avoid travel to Iran unless absolutely essential amid escalating unrest. It advises exercising heightened vigilance, shunning crowded areas, demonstrations, and protests while following local authorities' instructions. Citizens should carry identification, Kyrgyz embassy contacts, and monitor official announcements from diplomats and officials. Across Iran, fears are mounting that further crackdowns, blackouts, or violent escalation could follow. As embassies suspend operations and governments pull back, ordinary civilians are being increasingly isolated. The message from capitals around the world is blunt and urgent: leave now while you still can.